The supercars are back, and so is James Courtney. It is day one of the Sydney SuperSprint at Sydney Motorsport Park. The Virgin Australia Supercars Championship is back in action, and we had our first race today, and we had some fireworks as well. James Courtney, good to have you back. What was it like, rocking up to the circuit this morning, seeing the Mustang again in the Boost Mobile Racing colours, and getting out for your first hit out in practice one?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Sorry, I've just pulled on a shirt. I just got out of the shower and got dinner on the go. It's a bit nuts, but anyway, it's crazy. The day was just nuts. There was so much to learn. The car's very, very different to drive in the way you get speed out of it. And I'm pretty conscious not trying to make the team change things to help me drive the car better. I want to sort of drive it the way the guys are and get the most out of it that way, because obviously, they've been generating good speed out of it. So, a lot of it is me learning how to do that and, changing my style a little bit. So it's, dropped in the deep end with straight into 2 30-minute practices and then quali and the race, obviously. But, look, it was always going to be pretty tough and big ask. But, qualifying, the computer froze, and then we thought we had more time to do a run, and we didn't, and we ended up qualifying where we did. But Brendan did a great job with strategy, and the car was pretty good in the race, and our race pace was quite good, so we were able to come all the way through, and not all the way through, but through to 12th, I think it was, and had a couple of good battles and things along the way, and it was good to be back in the racing world for real rather than the E-Series craziness. But yeah, it was. I think it was a good day to come away 12th. I think with never driven, I was never sat in the car until today, and whatever. So yeah, it's a big day.
For sure. That first practice session there, I think you probably caught a few people off guard when you went out there. Scott McLaughlin goes P1, and then all of a sudden, after the first batch of laps, you're sitting up there in P2. Did you realise at the time that you were so high up in the order?
Yeah, when the guy came in, the guy said, "Oh, you're P2." I was like, "No, where are we really?" And they're like, "No, you're P2." I was like, "Oh, bang!" But yeah, so to drive like on the old tyres, we're speedy. We're there. It was just with the new tyre, the characteristics with the Commodore and the way I drove it. Obviously the last 10 years with Balkenshaw's is very different to the green tyre situation and how they sort of go about getting the speed out of the car on the green tyre situation. So it's it was a bit of a buzz. It was good to know that I hadn't lost anything. But yeah, it's just a shame under the green tyre situation we didn't get the same result. But look, that's it's expected. We're all here learning, and I'm sure we're gonna do better tomorrow after having a couple of runs, and then as the year goes, we'll get better and better.
And I suppose you've blown out the cobwebs too. You've got the lockup out of the way down at turn 2. You can go into Sunday with a strong result under your belt, a good comeback, knowing that you have got the speed going into those 2 qualifying sessions tomorrow morning, and hopefully putting a couple of good laps together.
Yeah, that's it. And I set a little bushfire under the front guard there for a little while. And that probably then sort of wounded me a little going into qualifying, because I was a little hesitant. It's just, the brake, everything's different about the car. So the brake pads they use are different and requires a lot more pedal pressure. The last, however long I've been in this category, I've driven on it's got a Project Mu brake pad, and they use, I think it's a PFC one. So the difference between the two is the Mu requires a lot less pedal pressure, and so there's a better modulation. But with the PFC, it's a higher pedal pressure, but it doesn't retard the car as much. So little inputs don't slow it down. So it's just different theories about way teams go about generating speed, and so probably the biggest thing for me was getting used to the amount of braking pressure I'm having to use, and then once you're using so much pressure to then modulate it, it's a bit tougher. But look, in the race, I kept it on the black stuff. Was close to hitting my teammate on the start. That was really tight. I think I closed one eye. But no, all in all, it was pretty eventful race. I think here everyone's probably surprised at the level of tyre deck. It's gone next level. One thing today, a lot of guys ran 4 tyres, which is going to then hurt them tomorrow with the 2 races. So it's going to be interesting. We only took 2 tyres, so we can run either 4 in one race and 2 in another, or 3 in both races. So it's I think we're in pretty good stead that way for tomorrow with tyre strategy. So just got to qualify the thing in the front and get the most out of it on that green tyre, and then we'll be good.
What do you make of the formats today? Obviously, 2-day formats, super condensed, not a lot of time to, I suppose, sit down with the guys and really debrief. Did that make life a little bit difficult today?
Yeah, that makes it even harder because you can't, have a run on tyres and get out and look at the data and watch some footage and all that sort of stuff. So it probably made the whole process a lot harder for me, and also a lot harder on the mechanics and everyone involved, really. It's such a tight turnaround, hardly any time to make any changes. Tomorrow in the races, if there's damage to be able to repair and get the cars out, it's going to be really, really, really tight. So even little things like, if there's a dust up in the race and someone then has to go and see the driving standards guy and all that, there's no time for any of that. So it's, in our DB briefing today, the guys are pretty much saying to us, look, if you can sort of deal with it, don't bring it to us. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow. I think it's good on the supercars for mixing up the formats and just getting on with it and making sure that we're racing and not sort of holding us back from starting racing again, and making sure that everything happens the way it used to, because the world's different now. I don't think it's ever going to go back to what it was. So it's going to be interesting in the next little period. And look, I'm just pumped to be out going around in circles and racing. It's it probably wasn't the most exciting race for everyone, but every guy got out of that car this afternoon had a big smile on their face and happy that they're not driving the E-Series anymore and actually in real cars. So it's it's good.
All right, James, I think that pretty much covers it. Best of luck for Sunday's 2 races, 2 qualifying sessions, 2 32-lap races, lots of tyre degradation at Sydney Motorsport Park. Should be a good Sunday.
All right, I'll get back to dinner. Thanks, guys.